Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first Almost Players podcast, where me, Flog, and Cut Here DJ,
Hello.
and L Plate Gamer are going to discuss things. Say hello, L Plate.
Hello, L-Plate.
All right, thank you. All right, we figured that since this is the very first of our podcast, that we would go ahead and we would give you a little information about ourselves. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions. We're going to all answer, and then we're going to jump right into our opinions on some of the news, and then we'll wrap it up with some other stuff at the end. But for right now, let's go ahead and jump into what kind of content do we upload and how often do we upload. So L-Plate, what about you?
My content is usually whatever I like playing, but it's I've got a series going at the moment, Wolf Among Us. I do a little bit of some Battlefield 4, but not very often because I'm crap at FPS games. I do the stuff with these other guys. These are the reprobates here, the Gmod stuff, and SimCity, that sort of gaming style. I've yet to finish a series, unfortunately. I've got a plan to get back into things like SimCity and stuff. Upload wise, I upload as often as I can. I'm trying to make it so I've got something going daily, but if not daily, every couple of days.
All right.
Okay.
What about you, Kahir?
I mainly do Let's Plays of usually indie games, but recently I'm going to start doing some more higher AAA stuff. I used to upload once a week, but I'm recently going to start doing it Monday to Friday. So not quite every day, but at least better than a week every video. So
That works.
that's about it.
As for us here at RU Gaming, it's pretty much me and Digeeling, my fiance. We do couples play stuff where we play co-op games. Most of the time they're AAA. Sometimes they're a little bit more on the indie side. And then we each upload our own individual solo series, where I play mostly a lot of indie games and she plays a lot of horror games, whether that be indie or AAA. And we basically upload at least one video every day. If we don't, then we announce it on Twitter and stuff like that. But yeah, we try to upload at least one video every day, but sometimes it's two, sometimes it's three. It's kind of varied.
Sometimes it's four.
Sometimes it's 18. We just bombard you with so much of us that you get sick of us.
Very quickly.
Oh, yes, very quickly. You can't listen to my voice for more than a couple of minutes, and then you're just like, fuck this. Anyway.
I could listen to your voice all day.
Oh, well, isn't that nice? Ooh, I'm so excited now.
And I just can't hide it.
There you go. That's true.
Oh, God.
But let's see. The next question is, why YouTube, guys? So, L-Plate, we'll start with you again.
Why YouTube? I discovered a guy named Swiftdoor a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. Started watching his stuff on YouTube, and then started watching other people. And they looked like they were having so much fun playing games and just recording themselves playing games. And I thought, yeah, that looks like a load of fun. And the aim was to make friends, which I did. So that's it, basically. It just looked like a ton of fun, and it is.
There you go. Kahir, what about you?
I really got into YouTube after I started watching channels like Arumba, Northern Lion, and Quill18, because they played the sort of same games I did, and just their commentary style really kind of drew me in. And when they started doing their multiplayer stuff as well, they looked like they were having fun as well, so I wanted to do something similar like that and get to meet new like-minded people. And then I found you guys.
There you go.
Unfortunately.
Yay.
Unfortunately, you found more like-minded people like yourself. So there's just many of you now, apparently. For me, YouTube was mostly just me and Digeeling had been playing games together for like the entire time that we knew one another. And we started when we built our better computers. We were like, maybe we can go and do some YouTube stuff because we enjoyed people like Northern Lion and Markiplier and stuff like that. So we had this idea about it, and I've always wanted to entertain people. That's always been kind of a big thing for me. So we started doing videos, and it just kind of went from there. And now we're like 800 subscribers in and stuff like that. And but it's just a lot of fun to do. It's also a secondary thing is Daijiling's really shy, and I wanted to get Daijiling's personality out there. And these guys know because she's played with us a couple of times where she just goes completely quiet. But yeah, she gets really shy, so I'm trying to break her out of her shell a little bit. She's gotten a lot better, and you guys have really helped with that. All you guys, not just these guys, but all the viewers and everything that have really helped her, get to talking to people, and it's really cool. And also because I wanted to, meet people that I probably would not have met other than YouTube. Like I probably wouldn't have met either one of these guys if it wasn't for YouTube.
It's 1,000 miles away for a start.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I guess YouTube is the big bridge between, a giant distance, and you can actually get to know people and you can be friends with them even if you can't really go and see them. These two guys can see each other, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they live, like, how long did you guys say? Like,
about 25 miles or so.
Yeah, so, I mean, so, like, for me, I'd have to fly there, so.
What you going to do in February, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to fly to...
I'm pretty sure flights are cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that last question kind of leads us into, you guys have any hobbies?
Yes.
I guess we'll start with L-Plate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We'll just go in that direction. We'll go L-Plate, cut here, me.
Yep.
I thought that's what we were doing anyway. I thought we discussed it, but
Hey. Watch it. I don't have a memory for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, hobby-wise, other than YouTube, I do amateur theatre. I've been doing it for a long, long time. I'm in Panto February, which is what that reference to February was. I live in Birmingham. So Sutton Coldfield Town Hall is where we're performing. I think it's like the 8th of February is the start of the week. Wednesday to Sunday. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which links in a little bit to Wolf Among Us on my channel. Yeah, so that's mainly the thing I do hobby-wise outside of YouTube.
So L-Plate's going to be playing Snow White.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That'll definitely be something.
I like how when you.
What about you, Cut here?
I liked how when he was explaining that he liked to plug in his stuff as well. Yeah, I'm doing the panto at this theatre, so come here.
You might want to come see me because I am a trained actor.
Well, if you live in the Birmingham area, guys, shoot me a message. I'll give you details of where you can buy tickets.
Yeah, you can meet him backstage. God. Meet the famous L-Plate gamer backstage, guys.
You can't go backstage.
You can't go backstage. Never mind.
Health
I rescind that offer.
Yeah, you're not insured.
Oh god.
No, I'm serious. You're not insured if you go backstage in an amateur production. Anyway, if you go backstage and you're not part of the cast crew or whatever, then Santa's most hated helper gets involved. Health and safety.
Health and safety. All right. Well, what about you, Cut here? What about you?
Hobby-wise, I'd have to say mainly...
Masturbation.
Yeah.
Masturbation. Yep.
No, I mainly do like computer hardware stuff, really.
That's what I said.
Yep. I love me hardware.
Yeah, he works with a lot of his hardware, eh?
Using programs and I don't know. I just like computers. Really, I really like computers. That's basically it.
Very good. I don't know. For me, most of my hobbies include like off of YouTube. I'm in a band with a group of guys that I went to school with. We're called. We were called Underworld Dreams, but now we're called We're in Your House, and. We haven't done anything as of recent, but we've got some stuff online and everything. But other than that, I just play a lot of games. I work with computers. I have a full-time job. And other than these guys, I mean, we got a couple other guys in the group that aren't really with this in this podcast, but I'm the only American that's in this little group. So I'm actually living in Ohio at the moment. So if anybody is close to Ohio somewhere, you might be able to find me out in a cornfield somewhere because it's mostly cornfields. Uh, other than that, I have a fiance. Oh wait, no, that's the personal life. I'm jumping ahead of myself.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little.
I'm jumping ahead of myself. Okay, how about our personal lives? A little something about ourselves that people might not know.
Okay. I have a son. He's 13 and a half, nearly 14. He does have a YouTube channel, but he's not really kind of kicked off on it yet. Really doing a lot. He hasn't got the software and everything going, so I'm planning to help him with that. So we'll just have to see how that goes. I am 34 next month. December 31st is my birthday, New Year's Eve. It's the crappiest birthday ever. And I've already said I live in Birmingham, so I mean, I don't know what else really there is to say about me.
Yeah,
Okay.
that works.
And I'm single, ladies. Birmingham area.
Help late.
Single.
Singer.
34.
Look at that.
Singer,
Mhm.
actor, YouTuber, an all-round damn handsome guy.
I can't really confirm that because I've actually. If you go by his voice, ladies, I mean, come on.
Hey, ladies.
How do you pass up
You get a
that
bit
voice?
of Johnny Bravo in there.
Yeah.
Hey,
just a little bit.
bubba.
Hey, Bubba.
Oh,
We
Do
could
the
just
monkey
go.
with me.
We could just go down the quagmire route. Hey, ladies, want to come between you? Oh, would I? All right. An impressionist.
Add impressionist to that. All right. What about you, Kyrie? What do you got?
Herpes.
Other than that,
Well, other than herpes, what do you have? Cut here.
I've got a 2-year-old daughter. I have a lovely girlfriend. I'm 23, and I live in Coventry in the United Kingdom of Great Britain. That's about it.
Let's see. Other than the fact that I have a fiance, Digeling on our channel, I pretty much. I mean, you guys can kind of figure out my real name because they've pointed out numerous times. I keep forgetting that I've linked my actual Facebook to the channel, so you guys can figure out my name really, really fast. I was not born in the United States. I was actually born in Ireland. But they moved over here when I was 3, so I don't have the accent or anything. Other than that, I'm 20. I'm 27. I'll be 28 in April. I'm an April Fool's baby. I was born on April 1st.
Really?
Yep.
That was my second birthday. My grandmother gave to me because I hated having a birthday on the 31st of December. So she always gave me a second birthday, which was always April 1st.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, growing up, that was really interesting for me because of the fact that I tried to be the funny guy, and then I was born on April Fools, so that constantly got jokes being thrown at me and stuff like that. But I don't have any kids. I'm not like these guys. I don't have any kids yet.
His stuff doesn't work.
I need to go to the doctor. No. Probably soon. I wouldn't imagine that it'll be much longer before I'm just like, hey, babies. How about them babies?
You could steal one.
Yeah, I could go steal one. I could be
You
like,
could steal one just so you've got an excuse to get to Disneyland.
just go next door into the other apartment and be like, hey, I want your baby.
No, you
That
don't.
fine?
You don't tell them.
Oh, well, I mean,
Put it in a bag and climb out the window.
Sneak. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That was really
This is getting
detailed.
off. This podcast is getting off to a fantastic start. We're already talking about stealing babies from other people.
Yep.
I don't know where it's going to go, but this is a good start.
Oh,
But
God.
that's pretty much it about us. If you guys have any other questions about us or about what we do, you can always ask, in the comments or something like that below one of these. Or you can go to our individual channels, which will be linked in the description below, and you can ask us. But other than that, I guess we'll just jump into...
Well, if you
Uh oh.
guys watching also have any subjects or anything that you want
Oh yeah.
us to talk about, again, exactly the same way, either in the comments below or individually.
Yeah.
Or if you just want to
Yeah.
start an argument in the comment section,
Yeah,
whatever
Just
floats
yell
your
at us
boat.
for no reason.
yeah. Arguments in the comment section's good.
It's like, why? Why the hell didn't you cover this, dumbasses? Well, it's probably because we're dumbasses. That might be it.
Okay. So, what topic do we want to go first? Would you want to go movies?
I don't care. If you want to go with movies, we can.
He
Should we go
just really
movies?
wants to talk about Star Wars, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, I know what he wants to talk about, but we're not going to talk about that right now.
Okay.
So how about that Jurassic World trailer?
Oh crap! Do you know that's one thing I haven't seen yet?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Why haven't you seen that? What is
Uh-oh.
wrong with you?
Uh
Uh-oh.
Johnny.
Yeah, there's actually been some pretty decent trailers coming out as of recent. So obviously we're gonna have to cover those. So which one do you want to start with? I know L Plate's gonna scream Star Wars, so
No, I'm cool. I'll go with you guys. I mean, I have my own opinions about the whole Star Wars thing.
we'll go ahead and start with Star Wars.
Yeah,
We'll
start
go
off
big.
Go big.
Yeah, there we
go
go.
home.
Okay, that's cool. So you guys have both seen the new Star Wars trailer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know much of the background about what the film is meant to be about, etc., etc., according to leaks and so-called official rumors?
No, I usually try to stay in the dark about films I want to watch.
I know a little bit. The only thing that I really know is that they got back like the entire original cast, so I know that most of the original cast is going to be there, and I know I think doesn't the story follow like Luke's children or something?
Well,
I know it had something to do with kids, but I don't know what it was.
well, this is a thing. I mean, to be honest with you, it's been a few weeks since I last looked at the rumor mill because
Oh, okay.
it infuriates me. Because of the I have a very big invested, I'm very largely vested in the Star Wars universe. Let's just put it that way.
He's a nerd.
Yeah. Basically, I've just turned around in my chair and I'm looking at my bookshelf, which is 6 foot tall, and it is full of Star Wars books. Which is they're basically there's about 40 years worth, as we're up to date in the books, which they call the extended universe, where a whole shit ton of stuff has happened, including Chewbacca dying.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not going to read the book, does it matter?
Spoilers.
But having seen the trailer, Chewbacca was in the trailer.
Yeah.
Which would be the wrong time. So if they're staying to pretty much 31 years, which apparently they are, 30 years, 31 years after the original, he died several years before that. He was smushed by a moon on a planet. Without going through the whole thing, it's a New Jedi Order series of books, which is about 23 books in which Chewbacca dies. There's a few other side characters that come into it and also die, and etc. etc. That goes on with the whole thing. Then you've got the in which Anakin Solo dies as well, which is the Han and Leia's youngest. How would you portray that into a film that their youngest son has died? There's also within that time frame as well, I think it might be slightly later in the film is set, to be honest, Jason Solo is killed by Jaina Solo because he turns to the dark side. But apparently Disney have come along, they've bought for $4 billion, they've bought Lucasfilm and the whole Star Wars franchise and gone, nah, fuck the last 40 years worth of books.
Yeah.
And just screw the entire extended universe.
Yep.
Which
well, I kind of had a feeling that Disney was going to do that when they jumped on, because Disney has a very they're not very good with listening to what the fans want, and they're not very good at listening to the fact that there is a huge universe of Star Wars stuff out there that they could have gone with, and they just kind of decided to not do that at all.
Yeah, I mean, they took Tron. They made a sequel.
Yeah.
in which they
Yeah.
took Jeff Bridges and they said, okay, we need a young version. So they put a CG face on him. Now that was several years ago. So like the technology there to do that to make him look a bit younger, there is fully computer CGI animated films out there where the characters look pretty real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beowulf, for example,
good film.
Yeah.
the characters they look pretty okay. Yeah, we know they're animated, but they still look pretty damn real. You telling me
Yeah.
you couldn't do that with the actors to
Yeah.
make them a little bit younger, or even have them voiced over?
Yeah,
Okay,
it
they
had
might get a
kind
bit of flack
um,
for that, but actually take it to the originally it was about between 3 and 5 years after Return of the Jedi. The Emperor is cloned. His soul or force powers or whatever go into the clone body, and he remembers everything. He's still head of the Empire. Luke
Yeah.
tries to stop him, ends up joining him, becoming a Dark Jedi in order to try and stop him and working from the inside, but kind of immerses himself a little bit. And all his friends come, help him destroy the Empire, and bring him back to the light. That's basically episodes 7, 8, 9, as they were done by
Yeah.
Dark Horse Comics.
Yeah.
I
and
had
they-
no
I-
idea there was an extended universe. So
Oh,
my
yeah,
mind
there's-
is just
Huge.
blown. I have no idea what you just said.
It's massive.
Well, I
Basically,
mean,
the final 3 films were done. They were done in graphic novel.
Oh right.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about it was like, is that the one that was just called Star Wars? Because there was a series of comics that I guess was supposed to be the original story that Lucas wanted to do,
Yeah.
and it had Luke and stuff like that, but he was an older man and he was like this war torn Jedi and stuff like that, and it was a lot darker. The universe was a lot darker, but apparently, like when I read about that, somebody said that it was like what he originally wanted the movies to be. Or is that the continuation that you're talking about?
Not really sure. I'm not too well versed in the comic universe of it.
Yeah, okay.
'Cause there's a whole bunch. There's a Young Jedi
yeah.
Knight series, which is like Jaina and Jason and Anakin, and
Yeah.
their kind of generation of Jedi being trained on Yavin 4 and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure about that. The novels are more what I've been into since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So I can't answer that question quite honestly.
I think that's what I read. I read about the fact that it was a lot darker, and I think when Lucas wrote it and stuff like that, he decided that he wouldn't go with that because it would be too dark for the audience to get into.
It's possible because there were several cuts
Yeah.
of Star Wars before he decided on the one we all know and love.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the original scripts he wrote was Star Wars: The Adventures of Mace Windu.
Oh, okay.
It had
Yeah.
nothing to do with Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, it
It
was
the
just.
Adventures of Mace Windu,
Yep.
and that's why Samuel's character in the prequels is Mace Windu, because he wanted to bring that character in.
Yeah.
But it's I really don't know what they're doing because, as I say, it's rumor mill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm looking at a website right now talking about it, and they say that the things that have been confirmed is that the plot will be set 30 years after the Battle of Endor. So it's 30 years after the,
Jedi.
I guess, last movie.
Yeah,
And so apparently it's going to revolve around the original cast, though. But it's also going to have other actors as well.
yeah.
So, like, there's not a whole lot that's been confirmed, and like you said, a lot of the rest of it seems to be.
Well, if you go when you watch the trailer, like the first voice that's on there, I can almost guarantee you that's Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
If you listen to him, that's Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, it sounds a lot
Dark
like it.
side and all that kind of business. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
Star
know,
Wars.
like, other than that, like, they had some information down here where apparently there had been, like, quote unquote insiders that have talked about the screenplay. And apparently, what they have kind of put together, which might or might not be true,
Yeah.
is that there's going to be a plot that is sparked by the discovery of Luke's hand and lightsaber by a young female protagonist.
Yes.
So that's all that they like have quote confirmed or not. And like the movie is being done by Abrams. So I mean I really love J.J. Abrams.
Expect a lot of lens
what
flare.
he did with the Star Trek.
It's also Lawrence Kasdan who also wrote a lot of the original scripts as well for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or co-wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The director, like with J.J. Abrams being the director and stuff like that, and with him, is he writing? Is that what he's doing?
Yeah. He's helping to write.
The other guy? Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Abrams and Kasdan. I'm on this thing now, and Leia was made leader of the Republic after her predecessor's death. That's about 25 years before this film. He was a retired veteran of the Republic fleet. Yes, he was. He was a general. Luke hasn't been seen in nearly 30 years. Go fuck yourselves. The lead character is Han and Leia's daughter, which would be Jaina Solo. Fair enough. But that means you'd need Jag Fell in there as well, because Jag Fell is her love interest. By this point, the whole galaxy had been ravished by the Yuuzhan Vong, invaders from another galaxy, with their biotechnology. Everything they used was not technical; it was animals and creatures, and everything was alive. And they hated technology, so they'd smash it. And they're trying to completely recreate the universe and make it their own in the image of their gods.
Yeah.
This is just one series of books, by the way, DJ.
Bloody hell.
It's just one series. Yeah. I was gonna say.
I'm
other
lost.
lead-
It's just nuts.
The other lead is a child of Lando, and either a male or a female, depending on who is cast. Lando had no children until much later on, so there'd be, if it's 30 years after, Jaina would be about 22, 23, thereabouts, somewhere along those lines, maybe. Possibly not quite that old. And Lando, I'm pretty sure, didn't have any children by that point. Luke did. Luke and Mara Jade, Ben Skywalker. The other lead is a stormtrooper, also either a male or female, depending on who is cast. Load of crap. Luke has no known offspring. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, okay.
The Empire still exists in the form of a number of loyal galaxies, and are a state of Cold War of the Republic. What? It's one galaxy. It's a galaxy far, far away. Numbnuts.
It's galaxies far away.
There are no Jedi whatsoever, and people still speak as if they're extinct, with Luke being the last of his kind. What about the entire Jedi Academy he created?
Yeah.
You've got Corran Horn, Kyle Katarn from the Dark Forces series. He's actually in the books. Corran Horn being a character from X-Wing series of books, who finds out he's a Jedi and goes on that path and all the rest of it. Saba Sabatine is another one, and there's hundreds of them.
Yeah. The only Star Wars books that I have ever actually read, I tried to get into the Rogue Squadron series when I was younger, but I never really got into Star Wars too much. But the only ones that I've read as of recent were the Joe Schreiber books, where it was like set in like a horror kind of universe. The Death Trooper book.
Yeah. Oh, that's just like a side.
Like a little spin-off thing that's just kind of an alternate. That's the only books that I've ever really read. But I did find the voice in the trailer apparently isn't Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, it is.
Because somebody's saying that the voice in the trailer and the antagonist is going to be played by a guy named Adam Driver.
Yeah, Adam Driver is supposed to be in it, but his role is still not confirmed. It's still rumored, as far as I know.
It says rumors have pegged him as a member of a group known as the Jedi Hunters.
Yeah, but you say that about he's a protagonist. Maybe he's the Darth Vader and Cumberbatch is the Emperor. That kind of relationship.
It could be. Yeah. It could be. It does sound like Cumberbatch.
He might not even be the protagonist.
Yeah.
Because at first I thought it was meant to be a really bad Yoda impression. When he first starts talking, it's like a really bad Yoda impression, and then you realise
You don't know what you're doing, I say.
No place in Lord of the Rings there was for me. No, why? Because I was green in it.
Because I was green, yes.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm still into. I think by itself.
Yeah.
I mean, with all the lens flares he's going to put in it, I'm sure J.J. Abrams will do a good job of the film itself. But I think they need to do the 3 episodes, and then Luke needs to wake up, and then it's just, that never really happened. It was a dream. Because you can't.
That never really happened. Do you not
can't do that.
But I was gonna say, do you not think that the fans would be like, that is a big fuck you to all of us? It was a dream.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
No. Well, if you can make 3 films in which everything that ever happened in the last 40 years in the Star Wars universe, they call it extended universe because it's not the films.
Yeah.
But to us, it's the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
It's what we've read for the past 30 odd years.
Yeah.
20
Well, not only
but
that, a lot of the stuff has been confirmed as like canon by Lucas himself.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that the expanded universe is literally the universe of Star Wars.
Yeah, but
because of the fact that
he sold those rights anyway. He sold them for $4 billion to Disney. You just went, there you go, do what you want with it.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason that the previous the 3 sequels, 7, 8, and 9, weren't made by Lucas is because he did not want to make a film of sequels of the same characters with different actors.
Yeah.
I can dig that. I can get with that. I can understand that. Films have failed because of that exact thing.
Yeah.
But, and it was too late to make it. By the time he thought, yeah, okay, then I'll do the prequels. He always said, he's always known to say, a film is never finished.
Yeah.
And it's just, a film is never finished. It's just abandoned or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Which is why they went back in 1995 and went back and did they did the digital touch-ups and all that kind of stuff. And and I think he always wanted to do them, but it got to a point where it was too late. The technology wasn't there for him to do what he wanted to do originally with the Star Wars. In 1976, when they started doing Star Wars, the technology wasn't there.
Yeah.
Industrial Light and Magic was formed from special effects guys from all different studios and backgrounds and freelancers and all sorts, and then they developed Industrial Light and Magic, which went on to do all the greatest films that we know. E.T. and Jurassic Park, all the big ones.
Any visual effects studios have to pay big homage to Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most definitely.
I mean, without them, you wouldn't have the effects that you had, which were cutting edge. They were pioneering effects in 1977, March 15th, 1977, when Star Wars released in cinemas in America. Didn't know that, did you? He, as far as from what I've read, he didn't feel that the technology was there to continue the story the way he wanted to.
Yeah.
It got to a point where it was too late to include the original cast, and he was right, okay. And that was when he allowed Dark Horse Comics then to do the comic book series of the story, and he gave the story that 7, 8, and 9 were.
And then we got the fantastic original, or the fantastic first 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
You loved them, didn't you? As a Star Wars fan, you had to have loved, at least that first one with classic characters such as Jar Jar Binks.
I actually really enjoyed the first film, except I'm in the same camp as everybody else. Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah,
he was meant to replace C-3PO and Chewbacca at the same time.
Yeah, it's sad.
Needed a strange alien, a strange alien to follow around.
Yeah.
to keep you in that universe. That's kind of what Chewbacca's there for, is to keep you in that universe. The fact that everybody
Yeah.
around is human, and then you've just got this big, giant walking carpet.
Well, I mean that's.
Pretty good, right?
I don't think Jar Jar was a Wookiee. I'm kind
Yeah,
of confused.
Well, no, that's it. Jar Jar's
He's supposed to be
a
like a
Gungan.
replacement.
Mr. Crashing the bus is able.
God, I
And
hate
then
that
that's the
stupid
baddest.
voice.
Yeah. Impressionist.
How did that species
Impressionist.
ever
They
become
didn't need
sentient?
that. And obviously, the other part he was supposed to make up for was the comedy duo of C-3PO and R2-D2.
Yeah, he was definitely supposed to be the comedy relief, but the way that they portrayed the character and everything, that's the reason why a lot of people believe that like the Star Wars episodes 1 and stuff like that, that was more directed towards kids because of the way that they made Jar Jar basically kid friendly
Yeah,
But
and just
you look at the cert for the original Star Wars films.
yeah
It's certified universal.
yeah.
They've always been aimed at children. But then, I mean, you get away with a lot more in 1977 than you would now
Yeah.
in terms of what you put in.
there's aiming for a children audience, and then there's pandering.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I
okay,
definitely
yeah,
think
fair
Jar Jar was
Yeah.
pandering.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, I think that's one. There's got to be a giant warehouse somewhere with just Jar Jar figures.
Oh god.
Oh god, yeah.
It's just Hasbro, whoever did them, the little Star Wars action figures.
You can
Like,
see
I'm
them
just sitting
making
there
it.
going,
You can see them making it. This is going to make us millions. Couple months later, shit.
this character's going to be the greatest character ever.
Yeah, next to the Grand Moff Tarkin figures.
Oh yeah. well, what about your well, it's not just Star Wars Episode 7. They're talking about doing those like spin-off movies between movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you hear about that? Like where they're supposed to be doing like maybe a Rogue Squadron type movie.
Oh, I'd be so into that.
Yeah, they've confirmed that the side movies are either going to be specifically directed at a character, or they're going to be a group of characters that are within the universe that people are really interested in. And they have said something about doing a Rogue Squadron type movie, so that'd be really cool.
Well, the Rogue Squadron series, there's 12 or 13 in the series
Yeah,
of books. And they were obviously originally based on X-Wing, the 1992 PC video game, which
Yeah.
I played the shit out of.
Yeah.
And the same with TIE Fighter, the sequel, and then X-Wing versus TIE Fighter.
yeah,
And then there was a fourth one called something else. I can't remember what it's called.
yeah. I think I remember playing a lot of the like X-Wing and stuff like that. I remember playing those games. Even though I really wasn't huge into Star Wars, I remember those games being really cool though.
Yeah, I played the living crap out of it, especially
Yeah.
the Death Star level. But
Oh.
yeah, I mean, there's about 12. So you've got effectively, you could have about 12 films, 12, 13
Yeah.
films.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, the 13th one was released 2 years ago,
Yeah.
Mercy Killing. Now, but 3 or 4 of those books in the middle of the series are actually Wraith Squadron books.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Which is something else entirely, and they come into the series. They come back in the series later on. The latest one, Mercy Killing, is also really a Wraith Squadron, but it's in more modern times after the Yuzhan War, etc., etc. But anyway,
Yeah.
if you took the first 5 or 6 books, which are the Rogue Squadron ones, you've also
Yeah.
got a spin-off there for one of the characters I mentioned earlier on, Corran Horn, which is I, Jedi. Like Isaac Asimov's I, Robot.
Yeah.
Oh okay.
The film, the same thing. Is it Isaac Asimov did I, Robot? I think it was. Anywho,
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Well, I mean, Asimov was the guy who wrote the rules of robotics.
Yeah.
yes.
And then I think he did do iRobot. So basically, anything that had anything to do with the fact that like a robot can't kill a human being or harm a human being,
Yeah,
et
the
cetera,
three
et cetera,
tenets, that's what
always-
iRobot is, yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. But I, Jedi, can't think of the name of the author off the top of my head. But anyway, that's basically about Corran Horn, who during the X-Wing series he's captured and held prisoner, and he escapes, and he ends up going through like an old Jedi museum on Coruscant, which has been buried and hidden underground, and
Yeah.
he finds a statue to a Jedi and a lightsaber there, which is a Jedi called Kieran Halcyon, who appears in one of the books with Anakin Skywalker in as a younger man.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it turns out that's his grandfather and his Jedi heritage, and the man who thinks he's his grandfather isn't his grandfather, and etc. etc. Corran Horn originally appeared in a short story with his father on Corellia, but he goes on, and then his wife is kidnapped by an Imperial warlord, an ex-Imperial warlord, pirateer. And he goes, and it's all about his journey, about how he learns to be a Jedi under Luke's tutelage, and it all kind of goes wrong. It ties in with the Jedi Academy series of books.
Yeah.
They kind of like plonks his character in there, even though his character wasn't there originally in the series of books, but it works.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. He doesn't interfere with the original story in any way, shape, or form. And he comes to terms with his Jedi history, his Corellian security history, and his Jedi personality, his Corellian security history, personality type thing, and the fact that he's a Rogue Squadron pilot and a husband, and it all ties all that in together, and it's an awesome book, and I've read it about 4 or 5 times, and I'll probably read it again at some point.
Can I just say? I think we should probably move away from Star Wars.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
yeah. I mean, I don't know how long we've been on this. This is probably about half an hour's worth of chatting about it. Just me rambling about Star Wars.
Welcome to the Star Wars podcast, where L-Plate's going to detail this.
I am. I've actually got a blog site and blogger, my own website, which is lplategamer.co.uk, and I think one of the last. I don't blog on there very often, so there's no point going and looking at it. But I did put a little rant on there about it actually. About the whole "fuck you, Abrams" thing, but
yeah.
Okay.
The other big trailer that came out recently, of course, was Jurassic World.
Which I'm just watching,
and like I don't know if you guys are big fans of Jurassic Park.
I love Jurassic Park.
Michael Crichton read all the books.
Oh yeah. Michael Crichton, he wrote the first 2, and then the third one he had nothing to do with, and then he died. Yeah, obviously. And so now we're getting this brand new one. It's going to have Chris Pratt in it. Obviously, you guys would know him from either Parks and Recreation, which is a little comedy TV show, or he's been in. Let's see, there was that little indie movie Guardians of the Galaxy. It was really obscure, so I'm pretty sure not a lot of people saw it.
Not a lot of people know that.
He played this character named Star Lord. I don't know.
Finally.
But basically, he's going to be in it. It looks like he's playing a more serious role, though. So this should be kind of an interesting view as to if he can be a serious actor or not. So I saw the trailer, and I love the freaking trailer. The idea that they've made this weird hybrid dinosaur and that it's like really smart. That seems exactly like what we would do as a human race. Is like, what are we gonna do? Well, let's see. We got this dinosaur. Oh, let's fuck with the dinosaurs. That should be a smart thing to do.
With them.
Yeah. It's like, I know what we'll do. We'll breed this race of dinosaurs that can murder us in our sleep. They can just sneak in and be like, rah, rah, rah.
So
that makes a lot of sense.
They've created ninja dinosaurs?
Ninja dinosaurs. Yes, they sneak up on you when you least expect it.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Dinosaurs.
Don't joke. Michael Bay will be all over that if you let him.
That's a good point. Do not give him ideas, please.
I think that must be another topic to move on to as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Turtles.
Oh God. Please,
but
no.
I'm actually watching the trailer right now. Actually, I've got the last 30 seconds or so to go on it.
So unprofessional, not even prepared.
Shut up! You never told me we were going to talk about it beforehand. the Velociraptors again. I remember seeing the original film when it first came out. So it was what, 93, 94. So I'd have been about 12, 13. And I remember going to the cinema. My dad took me and my sister to go and see it. And I remember sitting in the cinema, and during the T-Rex attack,
Mm.
I had cramp because I was just so tense at the time.
Oh yeah.
And I got
Yeah.
cramp in my leg, and I was trying to shift and everything. And I got a clip round the ear roll for twitching uh, all the time. I've got cramp in my leg, and I ended up having to stand up. And obviously, everyone in the theatre thought this is 12, 13-year-old. But I was just standing up because my leg was. But I absolutely loved that film when it first came out.
Yeah.
I bought Weetabix. I made my mum buy Weetabix because
Oh, God.
it had the stuff on the back of the pack that you cut off and everything. So I was making her
Yeah.
eat Weetabix so I could get the back of the cardboard.
Wow.
Well, you know, the weird thing about it is like I never really got into dinosaurs that much as a kid, but when that movie came out,
Oh God, yeah.
when I went and saw it, not only did it scare the crap out of like younger me, but it then was also just like just a really good action movie, just in general. So I mean, it's just I love the movies, and obviously I'm gonna see the new one when it comes out. So that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to.
Well, I used to go to my grandmother whenever I went to
Yeah.
Scotland. Grandma Dot. Yeah, all. Let's see if I can do it. All English kids have to call their grandmother grandma. So I had to call my grandmother Grandma Dot. So as you got a bit older, grandma, and you're walking round, an English voice in Scotland going grandma, grandma. She loved it. I hated it. But anyway, beside the point, grandma used to make her make her take me to the museum, which she was fine with. She never had any problem. It's free to go to museums in those days. I don't think it is anymore over here.
It is in London.
Yeah, it is in London, but I mean, you want to go to a museum in Birmingham, you've got to go to Think Tank and pay 30 quid.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I used to go and I wanted to see the dinosaurs, and I remember going before Jurassic Park came out, so I still wasn't very old at the time, maybe 10 or 11. Going in, and I wanted to go and walk through the dinosaur exhibit. Didn't care about anything else. I wanted to go and see the dinosaurs.
Yep.
And they put them away.
Oh,
Put them away.
they put them away.
Well, there you go.
There's no dinosaur exhibit, and that was the main thing, and it was all over there. And they've got them in the London Museum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
I
seen
took
them
my
in
son.
I know.
It's not cheap to go there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's I don't know. Like I said, I never really got into dinosaurs, but Jurassic Park would have been the only thing that got me into them, was just because of how awesome it was.
Yeah,
But
it
yeah,
was awesome.
the only other movie news that I really want to talk about or even touch on is the fact that they finally given a little bit more detail to the Deadpool movie.
Yes.
I'm a huge
confused.
comic book nerd. So
Yeah.
what?
I'm a bit confused with Deadpool.
You are?
How?
What do you need to know?
I think Deadpool's very much more an American thing than it is a UK thing, and I could be wrong about this. Don't get me wrong.
I like Deadpool. I read the comics.
It's not something I've ever really got. I mean, X-Men, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deadpool does a lot of American-esque references. Like most of the references he does, it's pulled out of American culture and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there are different variations of him. I think there is a British Pool where he's like a British gentleman, but he's still crazy like he is in comics.
Yeah, there is that one.
So,
yeah, I
so
mean-
what is Dead? It's DC Comics, isn't he?
No,
Marvel.
he's Marvel.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
Marvel. This is what's confusing me.
Yeah.
Because
He-
isn't there a DC Deadpool?
Well, there's a guy named Deathstroke.
Deathstroke.
Yeah, they
And,
do look very, very similar.
Yeah, he was kind of created as like an answer to Deathstroke, but he was the goofy like cousin of Deathstroke.
Yeah.
So
right,
I
and
mean,
he can't be killed. Am I right?
no,
Is
well,
immortal.
yeah, not really.
Not really.
'Cause if
He
you
is or not
kinda-
really isn't.
He had.
Well, if
I've
you-
seen one comic or something where he has the same powers as Wolverine.
Right.
Where because they were both test subjects for William.
Weapon X.
Yeah, Weapon X.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name. William something.
Striker.
Yeah, Striker. That's the one.
Yeah, is he not the one with the swords and stuff? Is he not supposed to be the one from X-Men Origins and then they turn him into Weapon
Oh
X?
God, yeah.
But Wolverine was always meant to be Weapon X.
Yeah.
Let's
So the other
not
one-
talk about
the other one should have been Weapon
Wolverine.
11.
Let's just forget about Origins, please.
Yeah, because what they did to Deadpool at the end of Origins
Yeah.
was a grave insult to anybody who's a fan of Deadpool. They fucking covered his mouth up. He's the merc with a mouth, and they basically gave him no mouth.
So basically, Deadpool should be Ryan Reynolds. That's what we're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
He's
when he
yeah.
was in that film near the beginning, that bit was I thought was really clever.
Yeah, when he was Wade, when he was just like normal,
Yeah.
that's perfect. He's got the voice for it too. Everything just kind of blends together with that.
Do we know who's playing Deadpool in the new movie? Is it Ben Affleck? Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. I hope not. I really hope not.
People said that about Batman.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, they're saying that Ryan Reynolds, he's still the front runner. They don't really have the cast, but they did test footage not that long ago that you can find online. There is actually test footage for it, and he did the voice for it in the test footage, and it is CG. But what they did was they said that the movie's going to be real because they wanted to do like a really quick run through of what a movie of his would be like, and they showed it at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And they had to whip up like CG stuff, but it still looks really cool and it's hysterical. And if they can keep that, and they can keep, I want them to do an R-rated version of the movie, but they're saying that they're going to stick to PG-13. So
character. So I mean, you've kind of got to really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's the R-rated star. Like that's kind of his thing. Is like he cusses and cuts people's heads off.
Well,
so that's another thing
so
I'd like to talk about.
Blade worked.
Is the whole PG-13 with films lately?
Yeah.
Everything's got to be PG-13 because it has to appeal to a wider audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because cinema is dying.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what cinema is dying because of piracy.
Damn pirates.
Which.
Yeah, but you know that's pretty much like for the movie stuff. Like Deadpool, I don't know when it's going to come out. They haven't really announced a director. They've had numerous writers over the course of like 10 years.
Wow.
And Ryan Reynolds is supposed to be doing it, but we don't really have a whole lot of information other than the fact that they have announced that they are making it. So that's definitely a thing that is happening. We just don't know when, where, who, why, what, and how.
Okay.
So there you go.
So we want to move on to gaming. Yes?
Yeah, we
Gaming.
should move on to games.
Yes.
Anybody got any topics to talk about with the gaming?
I do.
Yeah, go on.
What do you got?
The whole thing lately with the first day reviews, developers and that kind of holding them back. Do you guys?
Oh.
What do you guys agree with the whole? The game's released and then you have to wait for the reviews, or would you prefer reviews of the game on release or slightly
Well, reviews
after?
of the game and films and stuff used to come out beforehand,
Yeah,
before the release,
exactly.
because then people would go, okay, I'll buy this game when it's released. Otherwise, you're losing a couple of days' worth of sales, so it's a little bit stupid if you ask me.
I always thought a review was kind of like a guide to the customer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this will probably be something you'd like. You know, maybe you buy it.
Yeah.
Now it seems to be hold the reviews back because we need to sell the games first before people know it's shite.
Yeah, does that mean that game companies are just getting to that point where they're going, well, we haven't really got any good ideas, so we'll put this game together, and it's just like this game that was already been released by this other company. The gameplay's pretty much the same. We've put new characters in there, spent millions on getting voice actors in there. Let's get the game sold. I mean, you want to pre-order a game 6 months before it's released?
Yeah, I don't understand
Why?
pre-orders.
Why? I don't know what the game's like yet. I want to pirate it first. I mean, borrow it from somebody first.
Yeah.
Pre-order and get this pointless shit that you won't need. That's my favourite.
Okay, so it's 50 quid for the game, or if you buy it for 80 quid, you get these things. You get a little action figure, and you get some stuff in game that's pretty fucking pointless and doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form. You get a yellow suit instead of a blue one.
Yay!
Yay!
I bloody hate pre-orders.
Yeah, I don't understand why they do it.
Because it takes away the idea of the reviews. Because
where are demos now?
Yeah, I know.
When was the last time you guys saw a demo of a AAA game before release?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I've seen indie developers on Steam as well actually put out a demo saying, try it out before you bloody buy it. And the demo is something that I remember getting in like magazines and things like that, where you could play the game and you could see if you liked it. I remember just playing the demo over and over again.
Yeah, it was like one level or half a level or something.
Yeah.
And then the original the game itself will get released and you go, I've played the crap out of the demo, I want that game, and then you buy it and you'd be like, woohoo, it is as good, or it's not as good as whatever. But you had a taster of it. Now, unless you're actually going to pay and go to an E3 or PAX East or PAX Prime or whatever, you ain't going to see that game.
No.
You ain't getting a demo of that shit.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the big thing about these like day one, like not letting people review or holding back the reviews, like the way I try to play devil's advocate, and I try to sit there and I say, why, can they justify it in any possible way? And there's the only side of theirs that I can understand would be, I mean, and it's not really a side that I can understand and defend, and it's because of the fact that like people like Ubisoft and stuff like that, they're releasing games with obvious bugs that have massive problems. So I can understand why they would want to hold back reviews, because then all the reviews are going to be is like, so I was walking down the street and all of a sudden my character decided to fall through the world. It's like, well, that would probably make people go, I don't think I want to play that game anymore.
Yeah.
Did we invite Kermit onto the...
Yeah, apparently Kermit decided to...
Kermit Frog here.
That's reviewers right there. That's the sound of the reviewer. It's Frank Oz / Yoda / Kermit the Frog. But yeah, I mean that's essentially it. I don't understand it personally, because the way that it should be is it should be like reviews are either out before or during the release of the game.
Yeah.
So that way you can be like, well, this looks interesting, but because if we don't do that, then we're right back to, if we don't have demos to play of the game, we're right back to either having to try to find it to rent somewhere, or you're going to blind buy a game, and then you're going to end up hating it, and then you're going to hate the company that made it.
See, I think the issue is it's the fact that game journalists and reviewers and things like that would, before the game was released, be able to sit down, play the game for either all the way through or half the way through or something like that, to get a taste of the game and then give you a review. Now, some developers allow them to sit down and play them, but then they have an embargo on their review saying, right, write your reviews, but don't release it until this date. And it's
they do the same with certain YouTubers as well, don't they?
Yeah, it's
like they'll invite YouTubers. DICE did, EA Games did, for Battlefield 4. For some of the new release stuff and all sorts, like the Final Stand DLC and that kind of stuff.
It's like,
they invited some out, and they played the game on a LAN. There was a bunch of them that they invited out to LA, and they played it on a LAN server, and they actually captured footage. I mean, before Watch Dogs was released as well, they did the same thing with Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
And they said, you cannot show anything until this point. If you do that, we're going to sue the living shit out of you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know
it.
Total Biscuit and Angry Joe, every time I watch one of their videos and things like that, it's like, oh, the embargo's just lifted. And it's like, the game's been out for a while now. I mean, you had chance to play the game and that. you would have expected it to come out a bit earlier, but because of this embargo thing that is written up by either the developer or the publisher, it's it seems a bit scummy, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Well, some company, I mean, EA and that lot, and Ubisoft aren't so bad in terms of that, because they, it's not an embargo for like 5 days after the release of the game or something. It's actually they can do it before the official game's released, but there's a certain date where they say, because they're not releasing anything themselves.
Yeah.
So you can't, if you're invited to do that, you won't be able to release anything that you've got before they could.
Yeah.
So they do release stuff beforehand, but that's other people playing it. I think it's all very well. You can sit and watch somebody play a game on YouTube or wherever else, Twitch or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's not the same as you playing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I go watch
you
level
might
cap.
have a completely different experience.
Yeah,
than-
and I do
Yeah.
every time, especially FPS games.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you watch somebody
Mostly
like
because I suck at them. But...
yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. You go and watch somebody like Level Cap or Andazil or whatever, go and play in BF4 and they're getting kill after kill after kill.
Yeah.
And you watch me play it and I'm getting death after death after death.
Yeah, it's like, I can do this, guys. No, I can't do it. I'm
Spawn,
done.
die. Spawn, die. Spawn, die.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, that's
Oh yeah, but that's just the thing. I don't know. The long embargoes after a game comes out, having to sit on a video because of the fact that they don't have anything out yet or something like that. Sometimes that can be a detriment to the game I'm seeing. But I mean, I do a lot of indie stuff. Like I get in contact with or or people contact me about reviewing like indie games.
Yeah.
And I've only ever had one person tell me that I had to wait a little bit. And even if it's like a game that hasn't come out yet, they want me to like try to get out there and promote it as much as I can. So, I've never had to face the embargo stuff with all except for like I'm doing one right now that I can only review a certain section of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's the demo section, so they don't want to, give out a lot of information about the game until later, and so they're telling me that I can only do this section. So but that's not really a bad thing because then I can basically try my hand at like proper reviewing instead of just let's playing. So
that's a new.
So. But does that mean...
it's away from to advertise though, isn't it? Through you, it's
Yeah.
really advertised.
Does that mean though that with that case in particular, not without naming names, does that mean that you can only review the demo section, or can you review the entire game but only show the demo section?
Well, like apparently, from what I understand, is I can only show the parts from the demo.
Yeah.
But basically, like I can play the whole game and talk about it, but I just can't like give out a whole lot of information about it other than where the demo is.
Okay.
Well, I mean, basically, this game it's more story based.
Oh right. Okay.
And so there's less like direct action. So I guess if I did review the whole game, people could probably just watch mine and not buy the game.
Yeah, I can understand.
So I think that's what they're going with there is that but I did get a key for the full game. They did give me a full game key, but they told me that I can only do, this section of the game. And that's fine with me because it lets me play the whole game, but, then it's not pressured on me to actually like do the whole game if I don't want to. I did discuss with them doing a Let's Play of it, and I believe that they're going to let me do that after like they get the game out there for a little bit, and then I'll be able to do it. But yeah, so that works.
That's okay.
But that's my adventures in indie gaming. Do you have anything video game wise, L-Play?
Yeah. Let's talk about GTA 5.
GTA.
More specifically, let's talk about the fact that it was released 12 months ago for last Christmas on Xbox and Xbox 360 and PS3. It
Yep.
has just been released for the next gen consoles for this Christmas. So everybody go out there, spend 70 quid again. 12
Yeah.
months after for exactly the same game with first person view.
Yep.
Yeah.
But fuck you, PC gamers. I
Yeah.
want to play that game. I'm not buying it on 360 because I want to actually play that game and put it on YouTube. I want to play it on YouTube,
Yeah.
but I don't have a capture card for my 360, which I really don't play much anymore. I've gone from being a console gamer to a PC gamer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't have a capture card for that, and I don't have an Xbox One or the money to buy an Xbox One or PS4, which has them inbuilt so that you can stream and record or whatever and attach it to your computer and do all that. So I have to wait till January. So I have to wait for nearly 18 months after initial release of the game.
Yeah.
And what I can't understand is PC. I can understand them waiting for a next gen because the next gen they were still a bit unsure. They were only just released last year. From a business point of view, yeah, okay, then you can go look. It's released on all the consoles that you already have because they've been about for a few years. We'll sell more copies. Give people 12 months to buy to save up and buy the new consoles, etc., etc. And then release it on next gen console. Gives us another year to work on all the stuff that we want to add into it, like I don't know, first person view.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the PC version, is it really that difficult to port it over? Could you not do that while you were? I mean, you've got one team working on all the stuff that works for a Xbox 360 and the PS3, and then you've got another team which just kind of goes, okay, this is what we need to do slightly different. I don't understand computer programming, don't get me wrong, or anything like that. I mean, these guys are amazing in what they do, but
Yeah.
could you not do that at the same time? Could that not have been released on PC at the same time?
See, I think the main reason my opinion on it is the reason that it's coming out on PC later is the fact that on consoles it's extremely easy to optimize the game because everybody's running it on the same hardware, whereas on PC everybody's running different hardware, like different strengths and things like that, so they kind of have to optimize it for, well, they can't optimize it for every single one. So I don't know.
Their excuse is like the excuse of every other company that has to delay something, and that is that they want to make sure that it's polished and that it looks as good as it possibly can.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is like they're pissing off like the entire PC community by doing this, by postponing until January, because like the PC community, they're speaking out and they're saying stuff like, it's already out on a system. The things that they did add, like the first person perspective and all this stuff, that's really, really cool stuff. But, are people rushing out there to rebuy it on a new system?
Yeah.
Well,
I know that it's big and they are doing that. But I mean, the thing about it is like, the thing that's going to keep GTA 5 alive, and the thing that's kept GTA 4 alive, and even GTA 3 alive, has been the modding community.
Yeah.
And the modding community is only PC. There's no modding community for, the PS4 or the PS3 or the Xbox One. And so eventually, the console version's probably going to die out. But the PC version is going to keep going because there's going to have this huge community behind it where they're going to be making mods and, changing it and turning it into something that a lot of people are going to want to check out.
Yeah.
And I think that they're really screwing themselves over by, I mean, Rockstar just has a really bad habit of ignoring and delaying things that have anything to do with the PC. And they've just continuously pissed off the PC community, but but the PC people always rush toward them and say, we'll still help your game out and stuff like that, but could you please not do this next time? And then the next time they just fuck us over again.
Anyway.
So yeah. So I mean, they have to see that they're selling a lot of copies of GTA 4 still on Steam. But they're not selling that many copies of GTA 4 for the PS3.
Mm.
Hmm.
So I mean, they have to see that, and they have to be like, well, we're making money still, so why haven't we released this on the PC?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. From a money perspective, which they don't need the money because
Oh
they
God,
made
no.
what, like $1 billion on the game. Over way over $1 billion on
That's
GTA
not
5 when it
that's not the
released.
point though.
Yeah,
Because say there comes a day where, I mean, what is an Xbox really? It's a PC that you plug into your telly.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason you can't do mods and stuff on it is because it's all in a box that you can't
yeah.
fuck
You
with.
can't really, do too much to,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
All
can't. Well, you
behind the
can plug a
curtain.
keyboard into there, but it's created in such a way that you can plug. I can't plug a keyboard in there and bring up an OS. It's a you can't bring up the DOS or a Windows or whatever. You've literally just got the options it gives you, so you can't put
Yeah.
your own stuff on there. I mean,
Mm.
that's basically what an Xbox is and always has been.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what
yeah,
happens
yeah.
one day where they just go, PCs match all the PS4s and everything these days, and Xbox 360s and Xbox Ones and all the rest of it. Screw it. What's the point? You might as well just go PC. But then they've pissed off all these PC players that go, I'm not buying your fucking game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because the PC community, being a part of the community now, and being a part of the community just as being YouTubers and dealing with video games. I'm sure that you guys have gone to forums or gone on Reddit and stuff like that,
Mm.
and the PC community is really fickle, and and they can get really pissed off easily by really small things. So, I mean, pissing off a gigantic group of people who could potentially help you sell games, not a very good idea, Rockstar. It's just not a very good idea.
I think the only way that'll impact them though is when all the 12-year-olds that play GTA 5 and whatever on the Xbox,
Yeah.
when they stop,
Yeah.
or if, as I say, if the consoles themselves die out and it all goes onto
Yeah.
PC, which may or may not happen, I don't know. But,
Yeah.
I think that's the only way it really will impact them. Because until then, mummies and daddies will still be buying these 18-rated
yeah.
games or R-rated
yeah.
games or whatever for their 12-year-olds.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Because
Yeah,
they're meant for adults.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. These games are definitely not for kids. Parents. That's a whole nother topic that we can touch. Is just the fact that parents don't pay any attention to what they're buying their kids, and then they complain about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can you complain? You see, as a parent, you should probably educate yourself on what ratings mean.
Yeah.
Because if you go out and your kid's like, oh, M doesn't stand for mature, it stands for monkeys.
Yeah.
It's
But-
like, you don't do that.
At the same time, I think because the ratings are there as a guideline,
Yeah.
it is down to the parents to decide when they think their child
Oh, yeah.
is mature enough. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
for
I mean,
me,
that's the truth with any of that stuff.
for
But
me,
it-
my parents were perfectly fine with me playing R-rated games or 18 games over here.
Yeah.
When I was under 18, obviously, and I turned out fairly alright, I guess.
You.
Well, I mean, my parents did restrict it
Yeah.
in terms of what films I was watching and games I was
Oh.
playing. I mean, when I was that sort of age, I mean, games weren't really
Mm.
they weren't
Yeah,
really
they-
rated
yeah,
that
they
much.
weren't.
I mean,
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto when it first came out, that was kind of like they wouldn't let me play that, and
Yeah.
that was top down digital stuff where the blood was just a red splodge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
I mean, nothing like it is now with all the graphics and everything you have now.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh,
kind of like
God,
Horace
yeah.
goes skiing,
Yeah.
but it remembers the Amstrad or the Commodore 64, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, 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 definitely, yeah. It was the Commodore 64. I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
The Amstrad ZX94, I think it was called, something along those lines. We put the tape player stuck in the side of the key.
Oh,
Tape in
okay,
there.
yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
You went out and played for about an hour
You're
or so,
showing
and then
your
came
age
back.
there, Grandpa.
Yep. Horace Goes Skiing. Well, there's an indie game. There's a game you can revive. Horace Goes Skiing. First of all, for some reason, you've got to cross the road without getting run over.
Okay.
And then
So-
you get to the ski slope, and then you go down the ski slope and try not to die by crashing into trees or other obstacles that were there.
Okay.
That was Horoscope skiing. That was for the early
bestseller back
80s.
in 1935.
Early 80s.
The 80s. Well, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, it's fascinating just how much we've progressed since the
Oh,
80s.
God.
'Cause, I mean, it's only been what 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
40 years, but I mean, we've progressed to a point now where it's like you look back at those games and you're like, wow, man, that must have been back in like the 50s. It's like, no, that was back in like late 80s. It's like, what?
Oh yeah.
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 Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but
Master
but
System
like
2 and Mega Drive.
yeah, like when I was growing up, my parents, they were a little bit more lax. Like they let me watch a lot of horror movies as a kid, and they let me play a lot of games that like probably were a little bit more violent than what I should have been playing. But the thing about it is like because they kind of monitored what I was doing and they would watch me play these games. They taught me, this isn't real violence.
Yeah.
You should not go out and do this for real. And it's like, so I got this, set in my mind where it's like, well, if I see violence on the screen, that's way different than the violence that I would see if I punched someone in the face and then cut their arm off with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Only
So
slightly.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
is that a society thing? Have we destroyed that fourth wall? Is that what it is?
apparently,
Because
apparently
I mean,
we've got
if we go back to just because it's just an example I can call off the top of my head, Star Wars Episode 4. Okay,
yeah,
people get shot in that film
Yeah.
and
yeah,
die.
yeah,
An alien dude gets his arm cut off by the good guy, the Jedi,
yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Han Solo shoots Greedo first. Han Solo shoots first.
Han Solo did what now?
He shot first.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. And then the barkeeper took Greedo's body and used it for brewing his drinks because it made it taste better. But that's
There you go.
a short story. But anyway, it is. It's one of the short stories.
Oh god, here we go again.
Anyway, yeah. I don't want to linger on that. We've talked about that series of films and everything. I just want to use it as an example.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's still classed in that time, 1977, 78. That
Yeah.
film is still a U.
Yeah.
He chops an arm off, and there's like blood and stuff. That's kind of like it's not really blood. Luke goes home, and there's two skeletons smoking outside his home. I mean, that's pretty gruesome stuff for a film that's aimed at all ages of family, and it didn't bother you because I mean you knew it was a film.
Yeah.
yeah. See,
Have we somehow blurred that difference between real life and the movies and games?
I honestly don't think so. I think it's more people becoming really overprotective, or rather, people who don't understand it, understand the medium. Like they can, these people can understand like films or books, but to them, games are just toys, and they shouldn't be this violent. Like you don't give your child a I don't know, a gun and call it a toy, kind of thing.
yeah,
If that makes sense.
But what's the difference between a game and a film? Really, they're both forming. One more interactive than the other. Yeah, it is, and you control certain aspects or the whole thing or whatever in what you do. But obviously, the game still forces you down a path 99 times out of 100.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are obviously open world games, but even if you take GTA 5 as an example, as an open world game, it still forces you down the road. But you're gonna shoot people eventually.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just that for some reason these people seem to think that video games are children's toys, and they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be this violent or things like that. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
with this, I don't know. It's annoying.
Oh, they're not looking into it, and they're not saying, they're not seeing that the audience for video games, because of the fact that like people like us grew up with video games.
Yeah,
That's the audience. The audience has grown older with the medium.
Yeah.
But a lot of these people still have the same mindset that it's still for children.
Yeah.
And, you know, granted, there are a lot of games out there that are marketed to children and that are for children, but there are a lot of games that are not for kids, that are for the older audiences that have been following, you know, and love the storytelling and stuff like that. And and people just don't pay any attention to that. And I've always said the same thing for a very, very long time. And what I've always said is that media is not a guidebook for damning yourself.
Yeah.
You know, movies, games, books, music, all that stuff. I mean, no matter what is said or done in any of this stuff, you know, somebody should have told you along the line that, you know, this isn't real. The real life is where you live and do things normal.
Yeah.
You know, and there's just not a lot of parents that are explaining that to these kids. They're just like letting the media raise their children, but instead of explaining to them that this media, you know, is not the truth, you know, they just let the kids figure it out for themselves, and then that makes them, you know, screwed up in the end and everything. And
yeah, that just calls parenting into question then.
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
it, really?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I suppose it's a mix of both, because I mean, if you've got a media that is, because games are more violent than they were when I was younger.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of how graphic they are, I mean, you play games and you were killing people left, right, and centre. You're playing things like X-Wing and you're blowing TIE fighters up. Which, you know, they've got people inside them. They're blowing up. And,
Oh yeah. Things have changed since tic-tac-toe.
yeah.
Well,
Playing things like Dark Forces, where you're shooting people, and Doom, and that kind of. I mean, Doom was considered at the time. That was considered quite gruesome.
Oh yeah,
And you
that
look
was
at it.
like
You look at it
the
now and you go,
most-
"What?"
Yeah, it's like, huh? Well, I mean, you know, you look at games nowadays, though. You got like games like Far Cry 4, where it's not just violence against other people, but you're like killing animals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And stuff like and I mean, you know, it's all in the face of like entertainment and storytelling and stuff like that, but it's a hell of a lot more violent than, you know, the pixelized stuff that we played way back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know,
one example I have would be like the Total War games. I mean, that's mass murder on a grand scale, but it's to me, it's a form of entertainment. It's not a toy or something like that. I'm trying to grasp that little thing, and I can't quite grasp it.
Yeah.
Undo your zipper first.
Okay.
Now reach in and grasp it. Okay, you got it now?
Yeah, with the tweezers. Okay. Should we move on?
The only other video game thing I was going to talk about was I was going to talk a little bit about a couple of indie things that have happened and one other thing. Just pretty much one big indie thing. There's a game called This War of Mine, and I've done a couple videos so far. I don't know if you guys know what it is.
I'm still to watch your videos, and I did actually.
Okay. It's basically like it's a simulator kind of management type game where you control a group of people during a war, but it's not soldiers. It's normal people and how they have to survive among this war-torn country. It's unnamed and everything, but you get to control these like 3 people, and then I don't know if you get more as you go on, but apparently this game has made a lot of money and has gotten like 96% positive reviews and stuff like that, but it's blowing a lot of these bigger games out of the water because of the amount of money that it's making all of a sudden. So, but you know, I just wanted to mention that because of the fact that I'm a huge proponent of indie games, and when I see an indie game able to, you know, climb up the ladder where, you know, the big AAA titles are, I always think that that's really cool.
How much of that do you think is down to the fact that because they're indie gamers, you know, they kind of work into their own schedule? Nice mic interference, DJ. Thank you. God damn.
I didn't do
Plug
anything.
it back in. Jesus.
DJ's mic.
I'm so sorry. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, as I was saying, how much of that do you think is down to the fact that because they're indie gamers, they've got their own schedules that they're working to, it's their own project, they're working at they're usually very, very small teams, if not individuals, doing it. How much of that is the fact that you think that they care a little bit more,
Yeah,
perhaps, than your big.
Yeah.
They care about the game themselves. They care about what people think about the game. Not to say that your big companies don't care about gaming and gamers and the game they're creating. I just think they maybe care about it less because it's a job to them.
Yeah.
Or
I
and in
think.
indie gamers,
Oh
it's
yeah.
kind of like, wow, we really want to get this project out there, not because we want to make loads of money, but because we want to make a game.
I think the major
Yeah.
difference between indie developers and AAA developers is the publishers, the guys in the suits.
Yeah, could be. I
Yeah.
mean, there's also, we rag on Dice and EA because of Battlefield 4 was just not finished.
Yeah,
They
Yeah.
released it and it was full of bugs. Ubisoft are doing the same, had done the same thing with like Far Cry, and the way that there was other things that Far Cry has been ragged for, and Rockstar Gaming for the GTA 5 not being released, or etc.
Yeah.
etc. I mean, but a
Mm.
lot of that is, as you say, DJ, that is down to the producers, though, isn't it? And that's down to the companies going,
yeah,
we want this game released on this date, and obviously the creators say, well, it's not quite ready, and it won't be ready, but we want it out. Okay, we better do some quick fixes, and then they send it out.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think,
Yeah,
there's
I
really good indie games coming out. What was that one it was a couple of weeks ago now. I mentioned it to you guys, and it's a space one. The original game was out
oh
for like 20
crap.
years ago.
Yeah.
God,
Um,
Badge was playing it, and basically it's you get a spaceship and you can pick the path that you want to go through. You can be a pirate, you can be a law enforcer, you can be a smuggler, you can just carry cargo from place to place, and you've got to be careful about, because if you fill your ship up too much, you can't get from one place to another because it's too far to go, and all this kind of
Yeah.
business. A bit like EVE Online, but you don't necessarily have to get into any battles or anything. And it's,
Was it Elite?
Yeah.
yes,
Elite, yeah.
Elite.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It was Elite
Yeah.
something or other, because that game
Yeah.
was really cool. I think the problem is they want 50 quid now for it, which I'm sure that goes towards their development of the game, and it's a massive game for an indie
Yeah.
indie development.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
massive,
Yeah.
but I'm not paying 50 quid for a game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I play a lot of indie games and stuff like that. So, the things that draw me to indie games usually, if it's not the gameplay, if it's not like, I like a lot of roguelike games because I like the challenge of not dying, because if I do, then I have to start all over. But I love stories, and indie games seem to have a lot better story. Like they delve deeper into a story than a lot of AAA titles can. And that might not be because of the lack of caring, but it might be because of the lack of time.
Yeah.
Because, they do have good writers. I mean, you look at stuff like Uncharted and some of these bigger games that had like, Amy Hennig wrote those games. And she's an incredible writer. Like, she developed a world and characters that people cared about and stuff. And it just, it tied everything together with this amazing story and stuff. But I think she had more time to actually kind of do that. But like, there's a lot of bigger AAA titles that I think they push them out too fast. And so the writers may have it all together, but they have to they have to make the story more concise for the release schedule, and that ends up screwing everything up. It just throws it all out the window. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I think that's maybe the kind of point I was trying to get to as well.
yeah,
Sort of along the
Yeah.
lines. I'm not sure whether or not it's, I don't want to say that the people that work on these AAA games don't care about what they do.
oh yeah,
That's
Yeah, I
not
know.
what I'm trying to say out there. So if anyone's watching or listening to this that is
Just-
a developer from these things, that's not what I'm saying, guys.
there goes all of your AAA title stuff. Your privileges have been revoked.
I mean, I'll say nice stuff if you want to give me a free game.
Yeah, you
Uh,
can pay off L Plate. All you got to do is send them a check. That's all you got to do.
yeah, that's it. That's it. Uh,
But
do we have anything else we want to discuss in terms of games?
yeah, not really. I don't
No,
have anything. Do you?
no, I'm out.
No.
Um, pretty
Real life
much.
stuff. What about
Yeah.
real life stuff? Do we want to discuss anything real life? Do we want to go down that path?
So, yeah, if you want
Uh,
to discuss something,
Stuff in the news? Well, I know I'd like to. I don't know if you guys want to discuss it. I did mention it
oh
on
boy.
Skype earlier.
yeah.
I know
Whether
what's
we
gonna
want to
happen.
go down that road.
Um,
I mean, we can, but it might end up that this might be the last podcast that
yeah.
because I have a very strong opinion on exactly what's going on in the area where you're going to want to talk about, because it's the big deal in America right now, and that's Ferguson
It would
and
be a
what's
lot
going on
worse
down
for the
there.
podcast if we all disagreed.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
I don't know if we're going to disagree. That's the problem. Now it could be more entertaining if we disagree. That could be the thing.
But we had a similar thing a couple of years ago here.
Oh yeah.
Where a young black lad was he was killed
yeah.
Yeah.
by a police officer, by an armed officer, which is much more rarer in the UK.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Rare in the UK. I use proper English since I'm English. Much more
Yeah.
rare in the UK. And there was this whole thing about his death, and they had riots, and it was all, even though he was only killed because he was black, and all the rest of it. But he was a gang member.
Yeah.
He was a well-known scumbag.
Mm.
Yeah.
He had hurt people and he had robbed people. There's a possibility he'd killed people, but that was never ever proven or anything
Yeah.
along those lines. But they had riots, and then 12 months later, they were trying to arrange more riots, and it was just used as an excuse to loot, to steal, and to
Yeah.
destroy things, and
Okay.
to destroy people's livelihoods.
Yeah.
When in
Yeah,
actual
see-
fact, it was a lawful killing.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I think we're gonna be of the same mindset, unless Cut here is gonna cut in and be like, you have the.
The only thing I kind of disagree on is like the deserving to die part in that sentence. Really.
But the laws in the laws over there are very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how much you've read into it, and I'm sure Floggers probably knows a little bit more about it than myself, but I have actually read
Yeah.
into it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is about a dozen things that this guy did
Oh yeah.
in which the police officer was within his lawful right
Yeah.
to take out his weapon and shoot,
Yeah.
Yeah.
long before he actually did.
Yeah.
Now, striking a police officer
Yeah.
would give that police officer the right to draw his weapon and fire,
Yeah.
Mm.
fatally
Yep.
if needs be.
Yeah, assault of an officer, especially in a situation that he was in, can very much result in someone getting shot, because that's the way they're trained.
Oh yeah.
Because if they don't have backup and someone swings on a cop, that cop doesn't know what's going to happen next. So they obviously have to protect themselves as much as they can.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at the details and stuff that are coming out of the grand jury hearing that they had to see if they were going to indict him, you get the full scope of what happened. Because, what happened is, this kid went and this Martin, he went and he had basically robbed a store like not that long before this all happened. He
Has that
grabbed
been proven that he was involved in that? Because that's one thing.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. They had the security footage that he basically like grabbed a bunch of like cigars and stuff, and he shoved the clerk over. So it was strong arm robbery. So he didn't actually like take money from the place, but he still robbed it. And he was walking down the middle of the street with his friend, and the cop told him to get over to the side of the road, and they started like flipping him off and telling the cop to go fuck himself. And
Yep.
the cop pulls around in front of them, and they had words, and then
Well,
apparently
the cop,
what?
according to his testimony, he actually recognised that they matched
Yeah,
the description that his colleagues were looking for because he wasn't
yeah,
actually on that case at the
Yeah.
time. He was
yeah.
actually returning from something completely different.
He had just like gotten off of a thing where he had responded to a call about a baby choking.
Yes, that was it.
And
Yes.
he had just gone, and when the ambulance left with the baby, he just went out and he was driving around, and they got an APB out that this guy had basically robbed. That there were two suspects. They had robbed a convenience store, and he noticed them. And when he pulled around though, and they started yelling at one another, that's when apparently what happened was Martin reached into the car and punched the officer,
Well, the officer
and he tried to
tried
grab
to
his gun.
the officer
Yeah,
tried to open the door to get out.
yeah,
Martin then kicked the door or pushed the door to stop him
yeah,
from getting out. Now he tried to get out twice.
yep,
Tried to get out of the vehicle twice. Both of those times is reason enough under is it Missouri?
yeah,
It's in,
yeah. I
under
believe
Missouri
36, yeah.
law that the police officer could draw his weapon,
Yep.
but he didn't.
Mm.
Nope.
On the second attempt, this Martin kid, according to the testimony and everything, then reached into the vehicle to strike the officer.
Yep.
The officer made the decision. He couldn't reach his taser. He couldn't get his cosh out, whatever you call it in America, his truncheon, his baton, or whatever. He couldn't get that out. He
Yeah.
wouldn't have room to swing it, nor would he have room to swing the flashlight, which was on the passenger seat. Again, there's just not enough room for it to swing that, to use that as a weapon, without the possibility of it being taken away from him. So he then drew his gun and he fired at it, but the other guy had hold of the gun, I believe, according to the testimony.
Yeah, he
the
was
guy had
trying
hold
to
of the
grab
gun.
the gun. Yeah.
The shot was fired.
Yep.
The door exploded in glass because the window was down in the door.
Yeah.
And there was blood.
He
Martin had moved away from the vehicle because he shouted,
Yeah.
because he actually got shot in the hand, as the autopsy said, he was shot in the hand.
Yep.
The police officer then gave chase. The other guy, the
Yep.
first shot, the other guy buggered off. He was
Oh
gone.
yeah, he was gone. Yeah.
But he gave
Yeah,
testimony
they
that
don't even talk about him, but
no,
yeah,
but
he did give the
he gave
testimony.
testimony that but Martin had put his hands up and said, "Don't shoot," as did a load of other people, all of whom
Yeah.
were not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because why would a police officer with all these witnesses just shoot a guy dead? I mean, that just makes no sense at all. Because
Yeah.
they're all going to say, "Yep, I saw that officer, I shot him,"
Yeah.
even though that the physical evidence isn't there to support what they're saying.
Yeah.
He was then warned to get down, and apparently he then, to cut a long story short, basically Martin charged him, and the officer thought, "I've got no fucking chance. This is a big guy. This guy's like
Oh yeah,
6'4".
He was
built
he
like
was
a brick shithouse.
6'3" or 6'4". He was like 290 pounds. The officer was not even close to being that size. So he knew that if Martin got him down on the ground,
He was
he
dead.
probably would have been able to get his gun from him, and he would have been dead.
Yeah.
So he was very much in the right when he was defending himself in that respect.
But I've seen two different things. There's one thing where someone says that was a bloody good shot, shooting him in the head like that.
Yeah.
Which the officer had shot him a couple of times, but the guy hadn't gone down or something. That's when he shot
Yeah.
him. But, and somebody else says, look, he shot a couple of times, and one of the shots was a headshot.
Well,
A lucky shot, as it were.
Yeah, what finally came out about that was the fact that he fired 4 times and he hit him, I believe 3 of the 4 times, and he stopped. He stopped firing because Martin stopped. He didn't fall down, but he did stop charging at him, and they have audio. They have a guy who is on his cell phone, and you can hear the shots in the background. He does hesitate because Martin stopped, and so he thought that was going to be the end of it. But then Martin, being shot 4 times, then continued to charge the officer, and that's when he shot him in the head, and that's what killed him. So I mean, even after being shot 4 times, this kid did not want to stop. He just kept going. So I mean, there's obviously no other ending to this. Is that one of those 2 people were going to die?
I mean, bottom line is all the evidence that
Oh yeah.
people will not take because they
Oh
still
no.
want to believe this, and they'll still call it a cover up, and
Yeah.
it's the man doing it and all the rest of it. Bottom line
Yeah.
is
Hmm.
the kid robbed somebody. The policeman.
Yeah.
I mean, they had no sense, the pair of them. You've just robbed a convenience store. You've been reported. The police are looking for you. The
Yep.
policeman pulls up next to you as you're walking in the middle of the street.
Yep.
He pulls over and says to you, "You're going to cause an accident. You're going to get killed by a vehicle. Please go over to the side of walk on the sidewalk, as the Americans call
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
or path or whatever. Walk on the sidewalk. Otherwise, you're going to get hurt." Preparing, as the officers then preparing to drive away after having a quiet word with you, and you go, "No, fuck you." Oh
Yeah.
my God, are you that stupid?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you that stupid that you want the police officer to take another look at you?
Yeah.
He's just
Exactly.
pulled over. He's just pulled over next to you, and he said,
Yep.
"The reason I've stopped next to you is because you're walking in the middle of the street. You might want to move over a bit." No, the reason I pulled up next to you is because you match the description of two people that have robbed a convenience store, get in my car.
Yeah.
You've just got
Yeah.
away with that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You've just got
Yeah,
away
I mean,
with
you know-
committing a crime at that point, whether you were going to get away with that later or not. So
Yeah.
basically, I just wonder if this guy deserves the Darwin Award.
Well, I mean,
Death through stupidity.
that's it's definitely some form of suicide by cop thing at that point when he starts running at the cop. You don't run at somebody with a gun pointed at you.
No,
I mean, that's just a dumb idea in general.
Especially if it's already drawn.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Drawn and
oh,
pointed
let's.
at you, I'll just charge at him. You
Yeah,
get
it's
on
like,
the
oh, I
floor,
got
you-
an idea.
I mean, I know what I
Run
would
at
do.
it.
If the police officer pulled a gun on me and said, "Get on the floor," I'd piss my pants and get on the floor. I'm not.
Yeah.
I no two ways
I'm
about
not
it.
gonna- Yeah, fuck that. I'm not gonna run at him. That's stupid.
So, I mean, bottom line, as far as I'm concerned, the guy
Yeah.
was a criminal. The guy
Mhm.
who committed a crime. The guy then
Yeah.
decides to start verbally abusing a police officer, and then
Yep.
the police officer does have physical evidence upon himself of having been assaulted
Mhm.
by this individual.
Oh, yeah,
So
you
he's then
you
decided
saw
to.
the pictures.
Yeah, he's then decided to assault a police officer who was perfectly within his legal rights to shoot you, and then you get shot. And all your family and friends that are
Yep.
saying all these things and saying it was unlawful and all the rest of it, and we should have revenge, and it was only because he was black. I ain't being funny, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, the area that you live in is like 80% African American.
Yeah.
Now, if you saw the police chief, did you see that thing on the police chief? He was sitting in a meeting and he was on his phone, and then the news reporters then called him on it and said, "You were on your phone during that. That means you're not taking this whole thing seriously." And he says, "Yeah, I was on
Yeah.
my phone. I was on my
Yeah.
phone. I was on my phone because I was just on the phone to another officer who's just gone to a 5-year-old's death." Because she was shot in the head by a gangland shooting, by a drive-by shooting. And he says 80% of the victims that my officers have to deal with are African American.
Yeah.
80% of homicide victims are African American.
Yeah.
And there was a
Yeah.
whole bunch of other stuff he said. He says, "Yeah, I do take it personally. You're having to go at my officers who go out there every single day and deal with this shit. So you don't have to."
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's. I mean, my father was a police officer in the UK. He was also an ex-soldier, and I know some of the stuff he's had to deal with. I've known police officers all my day, and I've seen all my life, and I've seen kind of how they change from being who they might be had they not had to witness some things.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me put it into context for people out there. So if we take the whole criminal aspect away from what police officers have to see and deal with, let's take the more personal. My father's first day on the job was to stand guard in a room with a beheaded 2-month-old baby.
Yeah, that'll mess you up.
So,
that's
and-
really gonna fuck your whole life perspective up.
Pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
my father he's a very strong man in terms of the personality, and he's opinionated and all the rest of it. And I know full well that's a coping mechanism for some of the shit he's seen. He was in the
Right.
army. He was in the armed forces. He's had friends that have been blown up, been shot.
Yeah.
He was in the Dublin flats in the 70s,
Yep.
which that was a bad place to be. He was a Royal Scot. He was then
Yeah.
sent. He was then sent because they'd been there for so long. He was then sent in 1974 into Cyprus, and then the Turks decided to have a go, and then there was combat involved there, or no, not quite as much. But he did come under fire several times. I know that for a fact. I know he was in certain parts of Africa, and I know that I know he was in a convoy there when the vehicle next to his hit a mine, and all his mates were blown up. Well, not all his mates, but all his mates that were in that van were blown up.
Yeah.
But coppers see that, and in places like America, where weapons, firearms are much more common, even than they are in the UK. When they're in the UK, they are big news.
Yeah.
Somebody gets stabbed, somebody
Yeah.
gets shot, it is big news because it's still a massive shock to the people of the United Kingdom, of Great Britain, when a weapon is used
Yeah.
in any sort of murder or assault or anything like that.
Yeah, over here it's a little bit more common.
Yeah.
The violence with weapons and stuff like that is a lot more common over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
But that's due to our policies when it regards weapons and who can own them and how you can get a hold of them illegally or legally.
Yeah,
So-
and that's down to state by state, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, essentially like the way that I feel about what's going on over here is, essentially, what started off as something that before we had all the evidence and before we had all the information, this could have been, a reason for people to be mad in that community. But the more information came out, the more it was just, I started to realize that these people were looting just to loot.
Yeah.
It was no longer about justice. This is not a justice thing. This is about wanting to loot and giving and creating a martyr out of somebody who probably should not be martyrized.
No, because he was scum.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no two ways about it. If
he
you're
was a
going
gang
out
member
there, if you're
and-
going out there and every day and in your head it's there that I'll probably go out and rob somebody today, or I'll probably go
Yeah.
out and shoot somebody today, or I might go out and stab somebody today. It depends on what
Yeah.
friends want to do. I might go and fuck up someone's life.
Yeah.
You, sir, madam, are a scumbag, and you
Yeah.
deserve to get shot by a copper. I don't care what colour your skin is. You're a scumbag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
There's a lot of white people who do the exact same thing, and I think
Absolutely.
that they deserve the exact same punishment.
Oh hell yeah!
Is that they either need to be put in prison for a very, very long time, or if they decide that they don't want to live anymore and they want to charge a police officer, then they're probably going to get killed.
Well, yeah. I mean,
So
they- they've turned it into a racial crime.
Yeah.
Because that's the tack they wanted to take. They wanted to go down that road. They wanted to,
Yeah.
have all the cameras there and all the rest of it. And the family's probably going to make a lot of money now of going on Oprah or whatever. But the townsfolk themselves or whoever's doing the looting, and they're probably coming from other towns, other cities, and other states.
Yeah, there's
to
a
do
lot
the
of that
looting.
going on.
It's been put all over Facebook with these people, same as it was when
Yep.
it was done in the UK. It was all let's organise this, all over some scumbag who got what he deserved. And quite frankly, folks, you've got intelligence. You can make up
Yeah.
your own mind about stuff. Whether or not you agree with me, whether or not you agree with the grand jury, that's up to you. You're perfectly entitled to that
Yeah.
that opinion. But even if you are of the opinion that it was unlawful, is that
Yeah.
really a reason to go and smash up people's shop fronts? By
Yeah.
the way, a massive amount. So I've read a massive amount of the damage that was done to the businesses were owned by African Americans
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Well, pretty much in the conclusion of what has gone on, they've pretty much destroyed their town.
yeah,
The idea that a business would ever invest in getting a branch of it in that town is probably gone because nobody's going to want to do that. So they've essentially destroyed any business and any jobs that are going to be in that town because of what they did. They burned down 24 places and stuff like that, and I don't see them rebuilding. And so this place is going to turn into another ghost town. It's going to be another Detroit, which is, Detroit right now, it looks like a ghost town. And it was one of the more booming capitals of industry in the United States. and now it's the ghost town. And now this town, this Ferguson in Missouri, now it's going to be a ghost town because it's been destroyed.
So does Detroit look like the start of RoboCop now? Is that coming true?
Yeah,
the original RoboCop, not the new one.
It's like buildings are empty and windows are shattered. The people in Detroit that have stuck around, that haven't moved away, have resorted to all kinds of different things to make money. There's been a lot of documentaries done about how these people are going and stripping all the copper out of old buildings. And there was one guy who apparently would break into junkyards, steal stuff from the junkyard, then go back the next day and sell that back to the same junkyard.
Ah, so the Irish have made it.
That's basically where we've gotten to in some of the places in America because of the fact that our industry has just kind of collapsed in the past 10, 15 years.
Has DJ gone to sleep?
I think so.
DJ. Oh my God, DJ.
Did he actually go to sleep?
It sounds like he's snoring.
I can't tell if he's doing this on purpose or it's a joke. Ladies and gentlemen, the first man to go to sleep during a podcast.
DJ, are you actually asleep? Are you trolling? That's a sleep snore. Oh my God. Oh, we've just talked for the last 2 hours and DJ's just ruined it by going to sleep.
Well, you know what? We're going to keep it. We're going to keep this.
Well, yeah, let's keep it in there, but what's going to happen to his computer if he doesn't stop recording? His own recording is just him sleeping.
He's just basically been like, we're talking about like real life things. And that's when this should be called, this section of the podcast, and you guys can vote on it, is this should be called Cut Here Sleepy Time. So from now on, whenever we talk about serious things, Cut Here will now have to go to sleep.
Just you're trying to talk, and he's trying to get louder than you. It's like
it's like his body's unconsciously being like, I gotta.
It's like he's grunting as well. It's like, oh, is he awake, DJ?
Nope, almost.
Oh my God!
He's having a dream. Wait, what's he saying? Airplane.
What was that?
Kiss me.
Someone threw Billy down the well, and there's no water down there.
Oh God, I really hope he like wakes up and he's like, wait, what happened?
Oh, he's gonna have like 15 hours of. He's gonna wake up. It's gonna be like your hard drive is full. Your new laptop that you've just bought for 700 quid. Loaded.
It's essentially what's going. All right. Well, the funny thing is that we're gonna have to end it with him snoring. So obviously, people of the internet, we have obviously gone over time with the fact that and we're gonna Jesus Christ, we're gonna I was gonna end it with like some release dates and stuff like that, but I don't think I'll do that. But I will end it with a top 10 snores of Cut Here. But yeah, I will end it with my attempt at a top 10 of the video game sales for the week. I'll do it in between snores. Okay, here we go.
Okay, go.
Yep. Number 10 for the PS4 is the WWE 2K15. Number 9 for the PS4 is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Number 8 for the Xbox One, Far Cry 4. 7 PS4 Assassin's Creed Unity. 6 PS4 Dragon Age Origin Inquisition. 5 the Wii U version of Super Smash Brothers. 4 Xbox One Grand Theft Auto 5. 3 PS4 Far Cry 4, 2 PS4 Grand Theft Auto 5, and the number 1 is 3DS with Pokemon or Omega Ruby and
didn't
Alpha
quite manage
Sapphire.
the last one.
And Alpha Sapphire. Of course, the new Pokemon was the number 1. But I do believe that we're going to go ahead and call it there, guys.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you have any kind of questions, comments, or anything, you can leave them below, and obviously we will answer. And if you have something,
Whisper them in DJ's ear, because I hear
we-
people answer truthfully when they're asleep.
just be like, DJ, how homosexual are you? There we go.
Snore once for really, really, really homosexual. That's what I thought. There you have it, guys and girls.
But yeah, essentially just go ahead and leave us a comment, leave us some questions, stuff like that. Obviously, all of our channels are going to be down below. But this will be it for the Almost Players podcast
The weirdest
on the
podcast.
Almost Players Network. Huh?
Okay. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yep. I am Flog. This is L Plate.
And that's
Not the
DJ.
snoring one. And that's the snoring one. The snoring one is DJ. He's gone to sleep. So just check us out, and Cut here will sleep his way through everything. So we will see you guys later. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.